Okay, this isn't an installation video for the Nest Cam Outdoor and Nest Cam IQ Outdoor. This is just looking at the app and a few of the features and showing you some of the video quality and facial recognition, that sort of thing. So if you want an installation video, there's a link to the Google installation video in the description, which is perfect. So there's no point reinventing the wheel. So if you want installation, go and check that out. This is just looking at the app and notifications and things like that. So jumping straight in, you would need the Nest Home app. You can see just down at the bottom there I've got a thermostat as well, so that features on the app along with the camera. Obviously if you had more than one camera you'd have more than one sort of display shown there. So you would click into the camera you want to look at, and you will shortly see this screen being populated, and I'll explain what these little columns are with coloured dots in and what have you in a moment. So we assume that you've got the camera installed. I just drilled a hole through the wall, pulled the cable through, connected the camera up to the cable, connected the power adapter up to the mains, and the thing works. You go through your Wi-Fi setup and there you are. I don't have the wire running along the wall outside. It just goes through the back of the camera, so there's no visible cable on the front, and I'll show you a little picture of that just in the top corner. Okay, so the camera's installed, you've got it connected up to your Wi-Fi, you've got it connected up to the app. If you click on the little image, then you get the little sort of gear wheel in the top, that little cog thing there. You then come to your settings. Now you can have this set up. If we look at the first one, home away assist, that basically recognizes when you are at home using location services. So if you only want notifications when you're away from the house, you would turn that to on. Then as soon as you left the house, the Google location services would know you're away from the house and turn the camera on. I don't want that. I want this on all the time. So that's off for me. Schedule, again, this is if you don't want to use the home and away facility and you're out of the door every day at the same time and back at the same time, and you just want to monitor it while you're away, then you can put a schedule there. Notifications we'll look at in a moment, but just going down to activity zones. So I'll just click into that. You'll see on this image there that there's 3 zones I've set up. I'm not entirely sure of how many zones you can put on, but 3 is certainly plenty for what I need. What I've done there, the zone 1 is the area on the left, zone 3 is the area on the right, and zone 2 is the green area in the middle. And I've basically done that just so that anyone, whether it's the postman, delivery drivers or anyone like that, would normally be going through that green zone. I'm not really bothered about people going into that zone, and you can change the notification types as you wish. You may decide to not have notifications for people going in that zone, and you only want a notification for people going in the red zones who might be messing with your cars or something like that. I've got it set up as notifications for anyone coming into any of those zones. It's just I've coloured them for my purposes anyway. So you would click on one of those zones, and then you would be able to change the shape of that. Once you've accepted that, you can go into the next one, and you can change the colours at the bottom of the screen there for your own purposes. So that's the zones. You can set the zones as you wish, and then notifications above that. This allows you to get notifications on certain things that would happen. So if we look at the zone 1, now in that particular zone, you can see there it's the area coloured. Now you can set this to just give you a notification when the camera detects a person or what it thinks is a person. You can also select any motion. Now I don't want that. I'm not bothered if a cat or something like that walks past the camera. I'm not bothered. So I don't need that. I turn that off. So all I want to know is if there's a person on my property. and so I just leave that set as people. So they're the, when this comes back up, they're the 3 zones there, and then you've also got outside a zone. So that will show you the area outside those zones, and you can see the area outside is kind of greyed out a little bit. So you can either select, do you want any notifications about people in that area or any other motion, and I'm not bothered. I don't want notification when somebody walks past the front of the house. That's not important to me, so that's off. You can select at the bottom the activity. So if your camera hears somebody talking and the microphone on the camera and the IQ version, which is what I've got, is pretty good. So that will pick up people talking and will notify you that the camera has heard somebody talking. If you've got a dog and your dog starts barking, that again will come up as a notification, and all of the sounds. If it hears anything loud, I mean, we've got speed bumps at the front of the house, and we do get the odd wagon bouncing up and down there, so that would be detected and send me notification, so hence that's turned off. So I don't have any sound notifications on mine. To go down, familiar faces, the camera's got facial recognition. So if you had a new person that the camera's not seen before, and they come towards the camera, this only works obviously if the face is shown to the camera. If the back of the head is towards the camera, then that's not going to pick up. But if the face is recognised, it will ask you, the app will flag up a notification. It'll say new person detected, do you know this person? And you can either say yes, I know this person, or no, I don't know this person, and then you can add that to your familiar faces list, and you'll see there's a list of faces there that I've got on my list. Video recording is set to on. If you turn that off, it deletes all your video history and what have you, so don't turn that unless you absolutely need to. Nest Aware, okay, if you're buying this camera, whether it's the IQ version or the standard outdoor version, really you're gonna want a Nest Aware subscription. There's 2 versions of the Nest Aware. There's Nest Aware and Nest Aware Plus. So at the current time of writing, the standard Nest Aware will cost you £5 a month, or you can pay £50 a year, which will obviously save you £10. Now, if you do buy the annual plan, you do get a free Nest Mini with that. So I don't know, they're going to cost what, 30 quid, £35, something like that. So that's not a bad sweetener to get you, onto the deal. You do get a 3 months sort of trial on this, and then you'll start being charged. And once you start paying for that, then you would get your Nest Mini through the post. That gives you the Nest Aware on that price tier gives you 30 days event history. Okay, so anything that happens, if you have somebody walk onto your property and the camera sends you a notification, it will record a little brief video, a few seconds of what's happened there, and then that will be kept for 30 days. If you go on the Nest Aware Plus, which is the one I went for, that's £10 a month or £100 a year. Again, you get the free Nest Mini if you go for the annual plan. That gives you 60 days of event history and 10 days of 24/7 video recording. So you can go back at any point in the last 10 days and watch 1080p footage, and it's smooth. It's 30 frames per second, so that is smooth footage, and I'll show you some of the footage in a moment. So I would suggest you would want one of the Nest Aware plans. One thing to note, I think if you do start subscribing to the monthly Nest Aware packages, I think it's a bit difficult to then say, oh, I now want to subscribe to the annual. I think you might have to cancel your account and then start a new account, something like that. So just be aware, if you do get a month free, you can cancel at any point in that first month. So I would suggest, if you think you might, going to be using this going for the year one, then do that straight away, I would suggest. And if you don't like it, just cancel it and send the camera back. So that is your Nest Aware, which I was, like I suggest, you're going to need that, so factor that in. Quality and bandwidth, I've got this set on high. Now obviously this is a cloud-based service. There's no recording actually in a memory card in the camera at all, so that is constantly streaming up to the cloud, and it's, it can be up to sort of 2 megabytes a second. So it's quite a heavy sort of load. So depending on your internet service provider, there may be charges associated with that, but you want to make sure that you've got a reasonable connection. Close-up tracking view. Now, the camera itself, the standard outdoor camera is a 1080p sensor, and it records in 1080p. The IQ version has got a 4K sensor, but it always records in 1080p. So what that means is that you can, if I just go back to, say, look at the, turn this on its side. So what we're looking at there is a 1080p recorded image, but because it's using a 4K sensor, we can actually, I can do this with my pinch and zoom, we can actually zoom in up to 4 times and still keep that 1080p sharpness. You're not losing. So that is what comes in this thing with the close-up tracking view. On the IQ version, if the camera notices anyone walking into the frame, and a person walking into the frame, what it can do is, if you've got this turned on, it will zoom in to that particular area of the field of view and try and track that person. Now, I've found it does zoom in, but it can sometimes be a little bit slow to track the actual person, and I've not found it much benefit. And the upshot of it is that only works when you're viewing the footage live. It doesn't actually zoom it when it zooms in. It doesn't record that to the footage. It just records the the 1080p sort of stock image that you would be looking at a fully zoomed out setting, if you will. Night vision is it's just night vision. Just leave that set to auto. Camera sharing, obviously if you've got other people in your house, you might want to share that. Status light, this is the little green dot at the front of the camera. Then it will blink. It changes status to whether it's recording or it's noticed somebody or somebody's watching. It will allow people to say that Big Brother's watching you, sort of thing. Microphone, I've got that on, an audio recording. It's recording audio at the same time. Talk and listen, that's on. I understand on the standard outdoor version, if you wanted to, let's have a look, if you wanted to say, at the bottom there, talk, just at the bottom, if you wanted to talk to somebody who's at the front of your property or where the camera is, you would, on the standard one, I think you would have to press that while you're talking and then let go. Then the other person could talk to you, almost like a walkie-talkie type setup. With the IQ version, you just tap that and then it's free two-way audio. So going back into the settings. Wi-Fi connection front. There's not a lot else in there that you really need to know about. Now, where we had the activity zones earlier, the 3 zones that I've got set up, when this comes up, okay, there's the 3 zones. Now you notice in there that we've got the 2 red coloured zones and the green coloured zone. Okay, so if we go back to the view that we've got there, you can see these columns. The left grey column is the detected motion. Now I don't have an alert set for motion, so I don't particularly worry about that. And then you can see there that you've got the three zones in those columns, and so you've got a red dot, green dot, and then you've got a red dot in the right column. So that's your zones 1, 2 and 3. So if I was to just scroll down this, you know, you can get to that particular zone, you can see what it was, and that was me taking a picture of the camera for the purposes of this video. Now that has identified that there's a person in zones 1 and zone 2, so that was those particular, you know, the left and the middle zone. So that's, you know, that's what the camera's detected. You would get a notification saying, you know, you've got a person in zones 1 and zone 2. And if we go down there to zone 3, that's my wife just leaving to take the dog out for a walk. So there she goes. So, you know, you would receive a notification for that as well. Go down a bit further, we've got the postman. Now he's only in zone 2 because he's just coming towards the door. So that's that, and this goes on. Obviously I was washing the cars earlier, so there's all the footage of that, and I'll put some, you know, samples of the footage from that, and also you can create a time lapse as well, which is quite handy, pretty cool if you want to have a play around with your footage. But you can also scroll through this. You know, you go through all the days and the nights. You see, it goes through all the night and then what's gone on. So that's just sort of the general sort of notifications that would pop up there. You can also click the events, which will, if I scroll back up to the top, you'll see all the little events there. So you click on one, it'll show you, you know, person zone 1, zone 2. Again, this was me taking the picture of the camera for the purposes of this video, so you'll shortly see me come out of the house and take a picture of the camera. Okay, so there'll be all those notifications, all those little motions that have been captured there. Something I've noticed with this app though, just in this area here, if you want to get back to that sort of display where you can see all the notifications in the zones, it's almost like there's something wrong with the app, and there should be a button just where I'm highlighted on the screen. So if you just actually tap in that place, it brings you back to that. It took me ages to find this out, but I don't know why it does that. I'm assuming it's just a little fault with the app or something like that. It might be because this is the new iOS 14 version I'm running on the phone, but you know, that's where we're up to. Now, if you wanted to come down to you know, one of these sort of events here, and you wanted to say, I'm going to create a clip of that, you push at the bottom there, new clip, and then that will add that particular clip to your Nest account. So you are fairly limited with what you can do with regards to clips on the mobile app. For full functionality, you'd want to do that on a web browser, and I'll show you that briefly in a moment. But you can see there, you can view this clip, and it's made a clip that's about 40 seconds long, and you see the postman coming there, and he's away. Okay, so that's the sort of notifications you get through the zones. If you click at the bottom there at the 60 days, you'll be able to see 60 days of event history, assuming you go for the Nest Aware Plus. So, and you get 10 days full 24/7 recording. So I can go back, you know, nearly a week, and there will be, you know, what's this there? I can see somebody there delivering. It looks like he's delivering menus. There he goes. He's just delivering his menu from the pizza place down the road, I think. So, and then you click go back to live. So we're back live now. So that's the run through of the app. I'll show you some footage, and I shall show you the web sort of access, and we'll take it from there. So hopefully you'll agree that pitch quality there is pretty good. Sharp, clear, no distortion. You do get a slight fisheye effect on the lens. The camera's got a 130-degree field of view, so it's quite wide. And when you have a camera with that sort of wide angle lens, you do get a bit of this sort of curvature to the image towards the corners. So I'm happy with the picture. That's not a problem. The smoothness of the camera is really what led me to this one. It is smooth. It is 30 frames a second, and it is buttery smooth. So that, you know, ticks the boxes for me. The only thing I don't really like about this camera, if you look in the top right hand corner, you've got that Nest branding there. There's nothing you can do about that. This to me seems, well, it's frustrating. Let's just say that. The standard outdoor camera, Google Nest outdoor camera, I understand if you contact Google support, they can turn that off for you. But if you've got the Nest outdoor IQ camera, you can't. So I don't know what that's about, but that is just set to annoy me now forever and a day. So if that's going to be a deal breaker for you, then maybe you want to consider the standard camera and not the IQ. But anyway, I'm just mentioning that because that might be important to some of you. So what I'm going to put up now is just a time lapse of the same sort of footage that you can actually create on the web access for the Google Nest. So I'll put that up now. Let that play for it's only 10 or 15 seconds, and then I'll show you the actual web access. So this is the web access page on the Google Nest home page. You've got your familiar timeline across the bottom. You can click into zones at the bottom. That will give you your zones. You can then either add new ones or, you know, just move these about as you see fit. That's the only difference between the web access and the app, is if you go into settings in the app, that is where you would adjust the zones like that. But on the web access side of it, there's actually this special button down there. It's not in the settings at top right. So what you would want to do, if you wanted to, you know, you've found some a notification there that you want to record. It's just my daughter returning home. You know, you click into clips, and then you can do create clip, and then you would just drag that over the piece of information that you want to record, and then you can just see there it says this will use 5 minutes of your 3-hour limit. So you just click save. So you get 3 hours of 1080p footage that you can actually store sort of indefinitely on Google servers. And then once that's set processing, you can click done. You can click into clips, view clips, and then, you know, you can just see the one that it's actually done, which is probably that one, is it? Yeah, there she is, just coming back. Okay. The 5 minutes of the 3 hours is the total clips in there. It's not last one, right? So you can also click into clips and create a time lapse, which will allow you to, you know, highlight any particular short piece of information, or I think it's up to an hour. I think it does it. And then you can click done, go into clips, view clips, and then once that's been processed, you know, that's your time-lapse footage. But if we just take this one for instance, you can either share that to social media or download it, and then you can do further work with it. You know, if you need to provide that to the police or anything like that, you just download that and put it on a memory stick or email it or whatever you want, stick it to YouTube. But that is the basic web access. There's not a lot to it really. It's just pretty much the same as what the app is. It's just set out slightly differently. But so as regards notifications, there are some reviews on the camera that will say, oh well, the camera's got a notification cooldown. so that's not secure, that's not safe. Well, there's two ways of looking at that. You know, if I walked into the field of view and triggered an alert, then if I was still in the field of view, would you want it to still keep sending you alerts every 2 seconds, or every 30 seconds, or every minute? I can guarantee you wouldn't, because that would get right on your nerves. You'd just get fed up with it and turn it off. So the way that the camera is supposed to work is it's supposed to learn. It's supposed to learn when to send you notifications. I mean, if somebody walks into the field of view and they're still in the field of view, once it's sent you one notification, you don't need multiple notifications. You know, if that person was perhaps had left the field of view and then another person came in the field of view and the camera didn't recognize the face or what have you, then it would send you another notification. You know, it's supposed to learn. This is the whole part. It's you know, it's a smart camera. So I've not had any false notifications with this, so to me that's the fact that the facility is still turned on, to me suggests to me that works perfectly, or at least pretty well anyway, if not perfectly. But I've had no false notifications. I don't have motion detection on. It's just purely for people. But I'm pleased with the camera. Like I say, the only downside that's annoying me a little bit is this Nest logo in the top right corner. So anyway, hope you found that useful. Thank you.